So what is going on with the Denver Nuggets? I mean, they have really been struggling lately. Defensively, they're just not there. They're not a very good defensive team, and that's a real issue and concern for the playoffs, right? Are they going to be able to stop people? All season, they've been this kind of well-oiled machine. Now, granted, this could just be a bad just stretch. Teams have that over an 82 game season, right? You know, you see teams all the time. They'll go on like a 4 game losing streak, something like that. As far as the Denver Nuggets, they've lost 5 out of the last 6 games, but it's also the teams in which they've lost to, right? I mean, they lost to the Bulls, they lost to the Spurs, they lost to the Nets, the Raptors, and the Knicks. Now, some of those teams are pretty good teams, right? I mean, the Bulls have some notable wins. The Nets, you know, they've been kind of hot and cold since the trades. You know, they have these just incredible games, and then they have just these like super bad, just terrible games. Raptors have been pretty solid since they've gotten Jakob Poeltl, and the Knicks have been one of the better teams since the beginning of this season, or the beginning of this year at least. And so it's understandable that, again, they're going to lose some stretches. They're playing the Brooklyn Nets again today, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they win that game and bounce back. They are still first in the Western Conference. They're still 3.5 games ahead of the Kings and Grizzlies. So it's not like it's panic mode. And there is also the argument of them just kind of coasting, right? Are they just kind of coasting where it's like, hey, we only got to win like, 4 more games this year and we're good. Like, we're locked into the 1 seed, so let's just kind of get there. But again, this doesn't bode well for playoff time. I mean, teams already aren't really afraid of the Denver Nuggets, right? Murray is a great player, but is he that second guy? That's always a big question when it comes to the Denver Nuggets. Like, you have the Joker, Jokic, who's just absolutely incredible, very likely going to win his 3rd MVP. He's putting up insane stats. The guy's basically averaging a triple-double on like 62, 69% true shooting, which is incredible. I mean, he's literally putting up historic numbers. But how do they fare in the playoffs? What we've seen in the past is teams will just wear down Jokic, and that's how you beat him, right? Like over a 7-game series. Great example were the Lakers in 2020, right? The Lakers had JaVale McGee, Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, and they just pounded him. They just wore him down over a 7-game series, and then you saw him just kind of get tired out as the series progressed. Not just that, but other teams did that. And you kind of see that. It's like if the Joker doesn't have these like incredible games, then Denver really struggles, and Denver has a hard time. They aren't very good defensively. They did get some nice pieces, some nice acquisitions and stuff, and they have improved in some areas. But again, it's like, is Michael Porter Jr. going to be able to stop people? Is Aaron Gordon going to be able to stop people? Is Murray going to be able to stop people? Murray, he's a guy that he, 1 game, he'll give you 30 and you're like, man, and then the next game he'll give you 5. It's just, he's a great player, but is he the second guy on a contending team? That I don't really believe he is, at least me personally. Now, I'm sure Denver fans feel otherwise. I'm sure Denver fans feel like he's a guy, and he has shown at times in the playoffs, right? I mean, remember that duel between him and Donovan Mitchell, and they were just like trading 50-point games? That was spectacular. But he's not the same guy, it seems like, since injuries. He just seems to not have the step he once did. He's not as consistent as he once was. And they're really going to need him to just elevate and play even better. Porter Jr., he's at times inconsistent. He at times can just have these like great games, but then he kind of falls off. And defensively, he just gets lost at times. Gordon, I think, is a nice complementary player, but I think that they really lack the defense needed in order to win a championship. And again, these struggles, I don't think, are the be-all, end-all. I don't think, like, you look at these struggles and you go, like, oh, okay, well, that's why this team is terrible, that kind of thing. Like, no, I don't. I think this team actually has a very good chance. I don't think anyone would be shocked or surprised if the Denver Nuggets come out the West and end up winning the NBA championship. I really don't. I think that is something that is very realistic. I mean, they've, again, been a well-oiled machine all year. Jokic has been unbelievable. I mean, seriously, again, putting up historic numbers, unlike anything before. But even him, it's kind of like he's taking a step back. Is that just he's getting worn down? He's getting tired? Because we've seen that. We've seen him in other years just really start getting tired come the playoff time. And, you need him to be basically historic if you're going to go on this run. I mean, there's a lot of teams in this Western Conference that you can make an argument for could end up coming out the West, right? I mean, we still haven't really seen the Suns really kind of get their groove back, right? Because they were looking really good, at least offensively, and then KD gets hurt. So how do they look come in the playoffs? If teams like the Lakers just seem to have Denver's number, they might end up playing the Lakers in the first round. Or are they going to be, they might not even get out of the first round against the Lakers. Again, the Lakers, even the previous team, that wasn't very good, even that team was beating this team without Anthony Davis, right? And now they have a much better team that is much better equipped and matches up a lot better to the Nuggets than previously. And it's just like, you look at that team and you're like, man, they always have that number. It wouldn't surprise me if Denver ended up losing in the first round if they end up playing the Lakers. Again, it doesn't mean that they will. They should beat the Lakers, right? You're the number 1 seed, you're playing the number 8 seed. You should get that done. But even then, even if they don't, right? Like, are they going to be able to beat the Clippers, the Suns, the Grizzlies? I think they beat teams like the Kings, because the Kings, they don't really have the same type of they're very similar, high offense, not a great defense. But even then, like De'Aaron Fox, he seems to be the guy. That dude's leading the league in like clutch points, all that. Like, it's just, you look at the Nuggets and you stack them against the other teams, and it's like, you can make a realistic argument that they could lose to all of these teams. Like, you can make an argument for the Clippers, you can make an argument for the Suns, you can make an argument for the Grizzlies, you can make an argument for the Kings. The Warriors are still the Warriors. The Lakers, like I said, if the Lakers get in and they end up playing the Nuggets, I think the Lakers can beat the Nuggets, and a lot of people feel that way. I look at this team, and it's like, you want to build momentum going into the playoffs, right? Last thing you want to do is be in a position to where it's like, oh man, we lost, 8 of our last 11 games or something like that, and now you're going into the playoffs, and yes, regular season and playoffs are two different things, but, if you end up playing in the first round, say it's not even the Lakers, say it's like the Timberwolves, right? And they have Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley's been very solid for them, right? And you got Rudy Gobert, who can just kind of wear down and bang with Jokic, right? And then you also have Karl Anthony Towns, and you have Naz Reid, and you have all these guys. Like, and let's say the Timberwolves have won like 4 straight going into the playoffs. They win their play-in game or whatever. They're the 8th seed, and now you're playing them. You got a team with confidence. You got a team that matches up well. You got a team that can score. You got a team that can defend. It's just, I'm not saying that they can't beat them. I'm just saying, like, you don't want to put yourself in a very just tough position. You don't want to end up being that team that's like, oh, we were the best team all year and we fell flat in the first or second round, right? I mean, the Nuggets want and believe that they can win an NBA championship. They've been to a Western Conference Finals. They need to get through this just juggernaut, which is the West. Because again, the Western Conference, these teams are very, very good. Very good. And I mean, it shows how tight the West is because everybody's just clawing after each other, right? All these teams are just trying to destroy each other in order to get to the playoffs or a specific position or a specific, standing. And it's just, you look at the Denver Nuggets, and yes, they can kind of coast, right? They're there. They can kind of just, operate within, but it's just, again, like, are they going to be able to maintain the defense? Are they going to be able to stop guys down the stretch late in the season? Guys like Caldwell Pope, Brown, like all those guys, I think really helps. Absolutely. I think that those are guys that can really help just alleviate some of the perimeter issues and woes. But even on the interior, right? Like, we've seen them have breakdowns on the interior defense and teams just go off, right? Like, if they play the Clippers, like Russell Westbrook, however you feel about Russell Westbrook, but that's a matchup that he would thrive in because their guards aren't going to be able to slow him down. And two, they don't really have that rim protection. Like, Jokic can block shots and he's a big body and can be a help defender at times, but he's not like this elite rim protector. So, guys like him, De'Aaron Fox, they play the Kings. De'Aaron Fox is going to be able to get to the rim at will. I don't see their guards being able to stop him or slow him down. Ja Morant, same thing. Ja Morant's probably going to feast. It's just it's going to be interesting seeing them going forward. I'm not personally super high on the Nuggets. I think they have the potential. I don't think, again, anyone would be surprised if they won or at least came out the West. I just think that, again, you look at all these teams and you look at how they match up against Denver, and it's like you can make an argument for basically every team to beat Denver. And I don't think Denver really strikes fear in teams. Like, I don't think teams are really concerned with Denver. Like, I don't think teams look at Denver and go, man, there's no way. Like, it's going to be tough. I don't know if we could beat them in a 7-game series. All right? Like, we've seen that. We've seen teams get in people's heads, right? Like the Warriors, the Lakers in 2020. You just saw teams that were just like they just got ran through, and it was like, oh, like, is this team going to be the team? Nope, they got ran through, right? Like, the Bucks, right? Teams don't want to play Milwaukee. Teams in the East do not want to play Milwaukee. Teams in the West that are hoping to come out of the West are hoping anybody but Milwaukee. Like, Boston needs to beat them, Philly needs to beat them, whomever. Somebody needs to beat Milwaukee because I don't want to play Milwaukee in the finals, right? You got teams that they don't want to play. The Warriors even. Like, if the Warriors get into the playoffs and you think any team really wants to play the Warriors, I know that they have struggled this year. I know that they have been terrible on the road, but every time you think that that's it, the Warriors are done, boom, all of a sudden they're winning another championship. So, again, anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you agree? Or do you have concerns with Denver? Do you not? Do you think, no, they'll be fine? They're just kind of coasting right now. Do you think that they can win an NBA championship? Do you think they won't? Do you think they'll come out the West? Do you think they won't? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below.